So I got like 5 different kind of divisions of Limitless. So I have a private equity firm that's Limitless Capital. I have Limitless Agency, which is coaching consulting. We have Black Card, which is like my high ticket business owners. And then we have Digital Marketing School. Check it out. So my agency used to serve chiropractors. Still does, I just sold it. And I was going out to Vegas. I got invited to an event to present for 300 chiropractors. And it was probably like 3-4 months before the presentation that I got notified that I was gonna present. But then they told me that there was 2 of my competitors that were gonna be presenting before, or no, sorry, I was gonna go first, and then one was gonna go after, and one was gonna go last, back to back to back. So it was all 3 of us going up there, essentially trying to pitch whose service is better. So I had 3 months to prepare. Dude, I hired a speaking coach. I redid my presentation probably 30, 40 times. I recited it to my partners and my employees, even my wife and daughter. I would go home and I would like have them sit and I would practice it with them. So 3 months I spent preparing, right? And I got to Vegas and I was still tweaking it and improving it up to the minute I was going on. So I like would go to the organizer and be like, yo, I gotta give you a new version of it, right? So the day before that I go on stage, my competitors are obviously at the event as well. I see one of my competitors in the corner with his laptop, right? Like working. And I'm like, I wonder if this dude's doing what I'm doing, like refining it and making it better. So then I go to turn my new version in and the girl who was in charge of it says, you know, we never even got the first version of so-and-so's presentation. So this dude was putting it together the day before.
No way.
Right? He was throwing it together the day before. And here I am, I spent 3 months preparing, right? And dude, I got on stage, I was so ready. Like we were just talking about visualization and manifestation. Dude, I saw myself on stage. I saw myself doing well. I saw my energy. Like I saw it a million times before I ever got on stage. And dude, I got up there and you know, without flexing or bragging, I did really well, right? And the second competitor gets up there, the dude who I was worried about the most, he fucking bombs. It is horrible, dude. Like we're talking about marketing and for chiropractors, somehow this dude started talking about the solar system and the universe. And I was getting text from people in the audience like, what is he talking about, you know? And then the third guy goes and he does okay, you know, not great, not terrible. And so, you know, we wrap up and the owner, the CEO of the franchise that we were speaking for I overhear him say like, well, that's what happens when you bring in someone prepared versus someone who's not, you know? So the event ends, we leave Vegas, and I didn't know how well it really went over. I was like, maybe I'm just gassing myself up in my head. Maybe it wasn't that great. So I get back to my office, back home in Illinois, and within 30 days, dude, we took 70 offices from that competitor, the second guy, because he was the one who had the most. We took 70 offices within like 30 or 45 days, and that was valued at like $100,000 in monthly revenue. So,
My God.
you know, I mean, all is fair in love and business, I guess, right? And yeah, I prepped for 3 months. Like, no stone was unturned, and this guy threw his presentation together the night before, and I guess that's a lesson in preparation, man. I always have a strong belief in. I saw a quote the other day that said, "It's not about your will to win; it's about your will to prepare." And I always believe that I'm not talented, I'm not special, and luck is not going to be on my side. So the only way I could offset all 3 of those is just by ridiculous preparation, right? And you probably know this yourself, competing, right? It's like you can't lean on your genetics, or you can't lean on things, like you have to prepare, right? Or somebody less talented than you will beat you, you know?
Oh, there's always somebody that's working harder than you, man.
For sure, yeah. And again, that sounds like corny and cliche, work hard, this and that, but you know, it's the truth, man.
Simple fundamentals, man.
Yeah, right? Speaking of this, dude, I did a day in the life the other day, and I was talking about this gross ass shake that I drink. So I drank this every day for the last 10 years. It makes my life easier. And anybody that cares, it's I put spinach, I put 3 hard-boiled eggs, I put banana, blueberry, half cup of oatmeal, some hemp seeds, and every once in a while I'll throw some honey in there if I need to. So yeah, that's my morning shake every day for 10 years. Bon appetit.
It's crazy the world we live in with like the level of information that we have access to, where you almost get paralysis analysis if you're just always looking up information but never doing something. Like you said right there, so you made a good point where it's just like, oh, this is what I read before, I tried it, and then I read something, and then you read that it's actually good, so then you try that, you know. So it's just like,
who do you listen to? You know, it's like, what do you because I actually recently I've been dealing with this where I did a calculation. I used ChatGPT to calculate my macros because I don't track my macros, but I put in everything that I was eating into ChatGPT, and dude, I realized I was consuming like 80 grams of protein a day, like nothing. And I was like no wonder I struggle to like, you know, put on the size I want to and all these things. But the problem is that I try to listen to so many different people. Like, you know, there's the carnivore guys now, right? Like only eat meat. And then there's like this guy, Brian Johnson, you know who he is from Blueprint, the longevity guy. He did a documentary actually on Netflix too. It was called Don't Die. And it was interesting, but then I watched his, and then I started getting overly analytical about protein and meat. And I'm like, I don't think I want to eat meat. Because for me, it's not only about aesthetics and looking good. Like, of course I want to look good, but like, dude, I got kids, I have a wife. I want to be healthy. You know, I want to feel good. I want to live long. And yeah, but you're exactly right. Like if you try to, you can get overly analytical and then end up just like not eating enough or not doing the right thing. So right now I'm just like, all right, I'm old enough now to understand what makes me feel good, what I like, what's pretty healthy. And I'm just going to stick with those things. Like I never have been a low carb person. I can't do it. I feel like shit on low carbs where other people feel great. That's another thing too. Vitamins, dude. You could end up just taking a bunch of shit. You don't even know what it's doing for you anymore.
Well, that's one of those things with those. That's why you got to make sure that you know what you're getting to, because the efficacy of like vitamins can, you know, there could be a margin of inefficacy in there.
Or like, yeah, shitty brands and stuff. Like my dad, he's older obviously, and his doctor's always like, you got to take this vitamin, and he doesn't know the difference, so he'll go to like Walmart and just buy whatever's the cheapest. And I'm just like, yeah, you don't know how effective it is, you don't know how bioavailable it is, you don't know what the hell is in there. And none of us, I mean, even the ones that I buy are more expensive, it doesn't necessarily mean they're better. But that's another thing, trial and error, man. I just feel like with food, you kind of got to like, well, nowadays you can get blood work and you could literally find out if you're like deficient in vitamin D and stuff, right? So that's probably the best way to do it. But I don't know, I've tried a lot of different vitamins and supplements over the years, and I kind of notice, maybe it's placebo, but I kind of notice what makes me feel better and what doesn't. Like I was actually just reading about creatine, and like creatine has all these benefits, man, that beyond exercise and stuff like that. Like it has like cognition, like they're saying it can affect your cognition. It's like a nootropic or whatever. And so I'm like, oh shit, I got to start taking creatine again. I didn't feel good though for some reason. I don't know if it was me or it doesn't agree with me. And so I was like, all right, this is not for me.
Were you taking monohydrate?
Yeah.
5 grams?
5 grams.
So
every day.
Yeah. If 5 gram makes you feel shitty, to simply put it, try 2.5 grams only.
Just try half, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. For a lot of female athletes, 2.5 grams sits better with their stomach.
Yeah.
Than a full dose of 5 grams, because that, again, you know, will compound over the course of time and will saturate your muscle, and you'll still get the benefit. That's one thing that a lot of people think, oh, you need to do this, the front loading and all that stuff. No, like creatine doesn't work in just one day.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
That's everything, dude. Like
absolutely.
Yeah. You could go on Instagram and you can find a million different men and women that aesthetically look great, right? They have a great body, they have a great physique, and a lot of times people hire those people just based on that alone. And if your goal is just to be aesthetic and just to look good, but you don't care about your health or anything else, like fine, maybe that's the right person. But the problem is people just assume because somebody else has a good physique, like that's the person I should hire. The problem with that is like people are on all kind of crazy steroids and all kind of cutting agents and crash dieting and all this shit, and they end up, you know, they might look good on the outside, but they're super unhealthy, you know? It's hard to decipher if you're someone who's looking to hire a coach, like who's legit, who's authentic. The best way to do it would be if every coach had to post their biomarkers, like had to get blood work done and post their biomarkers. So you could compare like how they look, their body, with how healthy they actually are. And then, because like I would be like, all right, who looks the best while also maintaining real health and has good blood work. Like
Right.
that's who I'm gonna hire. And then I'm gonna be like, just tell me what you're doing, right? You know?
Gets too fussy, just mess his hair up or something.
No. Do not mess his hair up. You know what? Want to hear a funny story real quick? I used to manage this store in Chicago, this AT&T store, and there was this guy that came in. He would talk to me all the time. He always had phone issues. He was a really nice guy. And one day he came in, it was Friday, and we're like talking and going through our normal thing, and I'm fixing his stuff. And he goes, I'm sorry, but I have to do this. And he just goes, and then walks out. And I was like, you son of a, yeah. Position where it needs to be and all that. Every time I come in here, I got to adjust the height, adjust the angle. When I first launched my agency, I was stuck at $4,000 in monthly revenue. It was barely enough to keep the lights on, let alone live the life I wanted to live for my family. I was working a full-time job, I was running a gym that I owned on the side, and I was doing all this just to make ends meet. I had a wife, I had a young child, I had another kid on the way, and I would sign one client. You know some shit about some shit and you want to help people, right? And you've already accomplished some things in business. I feel like you have an obligation to share that, right? So like part of the purpose of me documenting and doing content and all this is that like I feel obligated to share, because when I started, I needed someone to help guide me through building a business and figuring it out and like navigating some of the challenges. So it's it feels like morally the right thing to do. Yes, I want to make money from it, obviously. I definitely want to make money from it and I'm going to, but I know that I have things of value to share with people to help them navigate their entrepreneurial journey or their digital marketing agency journey or online business journey and avoid some of the mistakes that I made and some of the things that, I lost money on and all that. Like I feel like I can help them because I went through it, and I went through it fairly recently. I've been in business for 15 years, but like most recently I scaled a business from nothing to a lot. And yeah, that's kind of my thought behind it. Like build a big following so I can monetize, yes, but also like it's my way of saying like, thank you to the business gods for letting me have some success. And now I feel obligated to give back. And this is not to give a sob story, but like my family didn't have money, and there was a long time I struggled. Like I'm 41 years old. Like I'm not, young. It took me a very long time to figure out entrepreneurship and to make a little bit of money. And for a very long time, I was locked in on myself. I was selfish and I was thinking about myself. The reason was I felt like I had to get my situation right first before I could do anything for everybody else. So I spent years worrying about myself, worrying about my family, worrying about making money. And now that and not that I got everything figured out, I'm still a work in progress and I'm still learning things myself. But like, there are people who are where I was, and it does feel good, because it's like I was selfish for a long time. And so now it's like, yeah, I'm kind of trying to make up for that a little bit. Right. Like, how can, like what you just said, like, how can I help other people and give back? And what's crazy is like, everybody knows this, I think inherently, but nobody does it. It's like, it is more rewarding, Helping people is more rewarding. Like when I've gotten testimonials or people that hit me up that were like, yo, you did this thing, or you said this thing, or you showed me this thing, or you've helped me here. That feels really good, Right. Yes, making money in business and figuring out feels good too, but that feels good as well.
Yeah, I think inherently just human beings we're just all selfish to a degree.
Yeah.
And I think there's this negative connotation with selfishness as well. I think that it's important to actually be selfish so you can be selfless.
Yeah, agree.
See what I'm saying? Like it's just
100%.
the concept of like very cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. People, I think sometimes they have good intentions in their heart and they want to give.
Most humans do, yeah.
Yeah, but they start giving too early, right? It's like you haven't accumulated enough knowledge, enough experience, and even enough money yourself yet to really go help people. Like that's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it is we all have something to give everybody, right?
100%.
It doesn't matter if you're a 15-year-old kid, like you've experienced something that somebody out there can learn from.
Absolutely.
But I guess my way of thinking about it is that if I'm still trying to figure out my situation, that is going to pull away from me genuinely wanting to give. And the more that I can learn and the more experience that I can have, the more value that I can give people, right? So it's like, I wouldn't say that this was all planned out or something like that, but that's my perspective now. And I feel like I'm in a position where, again, I've had crazy life experience, family members die, horrible things happen to me. I made really terrible mistakes in my life. I had businesses fail. I lost a lot of money. I made a lot of money. I had businesses succeed. And, you know, I've been through bad partnerships. I've been through breakups. I'm married to a woman that I love. I have kids with her. Like have 2 kids. Like I've experienced all the, so now I feel like I have a lot in the vault, so to speak, to share with other people, right? So it's like, there's more value that I can give. And there's a larger range of people that I can give that value to. And I also don't feel like I'm in survival mode for myself where where sure I can give a little bit, but hold on, I gotta go take care of Gill over here. Like I'm good, you know, I'm pretty good. Like financially, I'm fine. I don't spend a lot of money, so I'm good. I have a wife, I'm stable. I have kids that I love. I have a wife that I love. Like my life is,
it's abundant. You're not in a scarcity mindset. And I think it's hard to give when you're in scarcity, for sure.
So it's like people here are always surprised, man, because in the office, because they'll come knock on my door and they'll come in and sit down and I'll sit with them for 35 minutes. And like, they always say the same thing. I always hear the same thing. Like, yo, I know you're busy. I know you're busy. Thank you. And I'm like, I am, but fuck, man, I was busier when I was building the business and I was broke. Like it would have been harder to get my time back then. Like people actually don't know this. Like this is a crazy thing. Like the really wealthy people, like, yes, they're working hard, like unless they're Elon Musk, but like they actually have more time and they want to give. But I think that we assume, oh, they're successful, they're too busy, I'm not even going to try to ask this person to help me, right? Like I'm gonna go to somebody who's a little bit down the chain a little bit or a little bit lower on the ladder because it's more likely to help me. Like, dude, I do this all the time. Once in a while, I'll DM like crazy successful people and I'll just be like, yo, can I ask you a question? Can I get a couple minutes of your time? And like 9 times out of 10 or 90 times out of 100, they don't respond. But I've gotten crazy responses from people before, you know, and like got into conversations with them before, you know, people that are doing, I mean, that's how I started the relationship with Brad Lee. Like I just hit him up, DM'd him. We started chopping it up back and forth. And, you know, I ended up spending money with him, but like, he just happened to be free. And he's also that type of guy. He's very responsive. Like I could text him, call him right now, pick up his phone, you know? So yeah. Hey guys, so we got a workout in. We went to the photo studio. We recorded a VSL. We shot some quick shots around the office. We got a little bit of work in. The day is not over yet, but this is where we're gonna cut. I still gotta go pick up my kids. I still gotta take them to dance, and I still gotta do the dad thing, and I still got a little bit of work to do. If you enjoyed this and you wanna see more of it, or if you didn't like it or liked it, whatever it may be, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you wanna see more of or what you wanna see less of. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you guys.